Welcome back to another YouTube video, guys. I'm going to talk through the 8 steps that can help you get into the best shape of your life and sustain it long term. I currently run the Results Club, which is a coaching program that helps people get into the best shape of their life. This is some of the things that I do on a one-to-one basis with them to help them. So make sure after watching this you do implement it. So let's go. Let's start with step 1. The first thing we're going to talk on is a strong why behind the reason you're doing this. We all know that whenever we have the confidence and we have the motivation to do things, it's smooth sailing, or whenever we have an idea of we're going to get in shape, all of a sudden it becomes pretty easy in your mind that you're going to do the thing you say you're going to do. But whenever life gets in its way, whenever maybe you're working too much, maybe you're stressed out, your energy's low, you've had a bad sleep, all of a sudden the things you said you're going to do, like getting up early to go to the gym or organizing your food or getting a good night's sleep, all becomes a little bit harder whenever your energy is lower. So you got to create a strong why behind. You got to figure out, why is this important to you? If you find that you're just saying I want to lose a few pounds, it's not a very strong why behind it. But if I said to you, listen, I want to lose weight because I don't feel confident in my relationship, I'm embarrassed to take my top off, and to be honest, I've always felt overweight as a kid. If that was you and you now said, I want to literally to become the person that's confident, doesn't feel embarrassed to take their top off on holidays anymore, and doesn't feel like that kid who was overweight, all of a sudden the strong why is a lot more powerful than the generic I just want to lose a couple of pounds. So you got to create a strong why behind the reason that you're doing this in the first place. So make sure you start with number 1. Number 2 is overcoming the fear of starting the gym or being in a gym. For example, a lot of people find that the gym is a place that's quite scary to go to. The only way you're ever going to overcome that is by going to the gym quite a few times. I always use the analogy with clients is, imagine you go for a job interview, you get the job and you're starting the job. Day 1, you're absolutely shitting yourself. You're scared, you're nervous, you have fear, but you still go to that job because you probably don't have a choice, you need to work. Same goes to the gym. What typically happens after you go to that job a good few times and you start to get to know the people, you start to settle in, you don't really have that much fear to go to work because you've taken action. So the biggest thing to overcome the fear is to take action. Without taking action, you're always going to have the fear of starting the gym. And here's another point, nobody actually gives a shit about what you're doing in the gym. No one's looking at you, so do not panic. Everyone's too worried about themselves. Number 3 is keep it simple, not perfect. So many people think that to get in shape, you gotta be perfect. And that is such a myth. You do not. I mess things up all the time. I've been on this photo shoot for the last 13, 14 weeks, and I've had loads of mess ups and things that have went wrong. So one thing I'm good at is keeping it simple, not complicated, and I'm not perfect. So remember, simple works whenever it comes to your training with your nutrition. I always say the thing that you can continue to do on a daily basis is the thing that you should be doing. If it takes you 3 hours to organize your food every week and you have to meal prep for 3-4 hours, I guarantee you'll not be able to sustain it. So make sure it's simple, don't make it complicated. Number 4, if you want to have a body that looks great, is strong, is aesthetic looking, and you have confidence in how you look taking your top off, well, you're going to need to probably strength train at least 3 times a week. Now, the most important thing in these strength sessions is that you're progressively overloading, whether that's sets, whether that's reps, whether that's weight, whatever it is, you need to be progressively overloading. But to actually progressively overload, you need some data on a weekly basis to follow. So I advise getting yourself a program and tracking every workout, your sets and your reps, so that you know that you're progressively overloading, because that is how you're going to give your muscles enough stimulus to actually grow, which is going to allow your physique to look a lot better. Number 5, this is something that I use with clients and it's super simple, is just have a step target and slightly increase it every couple of weeks. Now, for example, if you do 3,000 steps now, do not say you're going to do 10,000 steps, because listen, you're not going to sustain it, you're not going to stick to it, and you're going to give up after day 3 whenever your legs are that sore and you're wrecked, okay? Pick a target. If you do 3,000 steps now, start with 5,000. Get good at that, get consistent on that, and then what to do is after a few weeks, start to increase it. Go 6,000. Get confident with that. After a few weeks, go 7,000, and then find a place that's manageable. You're burning enough calories, you're losing enough weight, and you can sustain it. Again, if 20,000 steps ends up too much, don't be doing 20,000 steps. steps. Again, we're going back, keep it simple, not perfect, find what works. It needs to fit into your lifestyle. Number 6 is going to be nutrition tracking. Now, people hate tracking calories. Most people yo-yo diet with tracking calories, and they never actually do it for longer than 2 weeks without messing it up or forgetting a day, or doing 1 week then not the next week. And this is where people go wrong. They end up in this yo-yo effect, the sort of hamster wheel of tracking food. But if you give 90 days you're all the tracking calories, you track everything that you eat, everything that you drink, I guarantee you will build a way better relationship with food, because you'll know what you're eating. Is you got to make sure that you're actually tracking your food for a long basis of time, so that you can end up knowing what you're actually eating. And the biggest thing with tracking your calories, most people need to get leaner, they need to lose weight, and if that's you, you need to be able to work out what your calories need to be to actually get to where you want to go. So this takes me on to the next thing with steps and nutrition. If you find that you're losing weight and it stalls, the most important thing to do is, if you can't increase your steps anymore, you can't train anymore, you're going to need to bring your calories down by 1 to 200. You can see here, 1 to 200 calories, bring it down and see then, and hold that for a week or two, and I guarantee you'll start to lose weight. But the biggest thing with nutrition is you got to have an actual base of data. It's a bit like the training and the progressively overloading. If you haven't got data, it becomes very hard to know what you're eating, what you're doing, and what tweaks do you need to make when things aren't going to plan. Number 7 has been a game changer. Finding a healthy takeaway that you can track the calories from their menu. This allows you to actually stay on track and have something that you look forward to. Because here's the reality, if you try to eat the same thing every single day and you have nothing that you're really looking forward to, it becomes very boring and very hard to stick to, and that's not really realistic. You should be able to have autonomy with your nutrition, and there should also be parts of it where you enjoy a nice healthy takeaway, or you're maybe out for a nice meal. The biggest thing is making sure that there is times in the month that you're actually looking forward to maybe heading out for a nice healthy meal or a good takeaway or something to enjoy. Gotta enjoy the process. Number 8 is have a plan, have breaks, because most people on a fat loss journey, they don't actually have a plan of action. They just say, I want to lose weight. They don't plan how much weight they want to lose. They don't plan out time frames. And here's what typically happens. It feels like you're in the fat loss phase forever. You're never getting out of it, and you're just stuck trying to lose weight. But not if you plan it properly. If you say, for the next 90 days I'm losing weight, then I'm going to take a 2-week diet break, and I'm going to go back to sort of maintenance calories or higher. What typically happens is your body gets rid of cortisol, your body gets into a more relaxed state, and you'll find that your body works a lot better with you, because you're under stress whenever it comes to you actually losing weight. You think of it, your body doesn't want to actually lose weight. You're forcing it by creating a deficit, and by giving yourself a break, it's very good for your mindset, because you say to yourself, for the next 90 days I'm going hard at it, but I know that I'm getting a 2-week break at the end of this. Then if you haven't lost enough weight, you go again into another 90 days. So it's small milestones and it's phases of losing weight. It doesn't seem like this long duration, years and years upon years trying to get into shape. So these are my 8 lessons and tips that I would advise you use if you want to get into the best shape of your life, have confidence, and after all, guys, who doesn't want to look great? Thanks very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more tips that can help you on this journey of getting in the best shape of your life and sustaining a healthy lifestyle.